I want to thank you all for attending our webinar today, Meet the Modern Credit Card Stack. We're excited to both tell you and show you how technology can unlock speed and innovation in your credit card programs. We're going to go ahead and present the material through. It's probably going to take 30 to 40 minutes to share everything we have for you. But we do want to answer any questions you have. So if you have questions that come up during the presentation, please use the Q&A module at the bottom of your screen to just type those up so that you don't forget them. And then at the end of the presentation, we're going to take time to answer any and all questions. With that, I'll turn it over to our speakers, Shiv and Rajan.
Hello, guys.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Pat. So I think, in terms of an overall agenda, we are going to briefly touch upon what we see as the state of the credit card industry today, and then touch upon a few topics which matter to how you choose a modern credit card stack. Themes around instant issuance, why mobile-first approach matters, how a fully integrated stack unlocks velocity and innovation, and how configurability is key to enabling velocity and control for how you launch and manage your credit card products. Consumers are already in mobile. This is not news. And it's no wonder that every bank is investing in a mobile-driven approach to engaging customers. A lot of the top banks have invested probably tens of millions of dollars in getting to the top of the heap in terms of relative customer satisfaction. Amex, Bank of America are at the top for the J.D. Power credit card mobile app customer satisfaction survey. Some regional banks also surface. Huntington, BBVA are also at the top. But overall, they are still being outdone by Apple, which has a mobile native card experience. And it is gaining share. A number of their customers are ranking them highly. And it's no surprise that in 2021 and 2022, they were ranked in #1 for a mid-size issuer segment, but their overall satisfaction rating beats every top bank that's out there. But apps are not just about showing statements and showing transactions. It's not just another channel. There's an opportunity to reimagine what credit cards are in a mobile native environment. And why should it matter? A mobile native experience drives some better outcomes that we all care about. Higher conversion, for example, at the top of the funnel, when we originate credit cards, converting 100% of credit approved customers to activation. We all know how plastic activation has huge drop-offs. The top 50 issuers have only about 57% card activation rate. That means 43 out of every 100 credit approved customers don't even activate the card. A fully native card activation or card issuance drives over 85% activation rate. And why is this so hard? Even top issuers have not been able to get to an outcome where 100% of credit approved customers are given instant issuance. And the reason is a mobile native experience is needed for you to be able to do this in a completely fraud-free, frictionless environment. Similarly, mobile apps, when they're reimagined, can drive top of wallet. Rewards have become table stakes. To compete for the user's top of wallet, you need to enable features like easy and instant authorized user enablement. Card controls, which will give the cardholder a sense of safety and control on their card. Easy ability to view and manage subscriptions, merchant card on file. And we will see some of this today in the demo. And then the last one, which we all care from a business outcome point of view, we want to make it easy and nice for the cardholder, but also keep fraud extremely low. We will always continue to use model-based fraud inferences to determine whether to authorize or decline a transaction, but mobile can be a huge force multiplier, enabling geo controls on the card and enabling and controlling how you provision cards into a wallet. Merchant whitelisting. These are some new capabilities that are out in the market with us, which will significantly change how you manage fraud. And with that, we will go into showing how some of this works with an actual demo. Over to you, Rajan.
Thank you, Shiv. All right, I am going to share. Pat, if you could give me access, I just have to share my screen.
You, as a panelist, you do have access. So just click the share button.
Okay, perfect. All right, wonderful. Can you guys see my phone?
Not yet. It's showing that you've started your screen share, but we don't, at least I don't see the phone yet.
Okay, I'm going to try again, maybe. All
That's,
right, got
we
it.
see it now.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Shiv. Thank you, Pat. So as Shiv mentioned, we are going to have a demo, and some parts of the demo is interactive, and we would like you guys to participate. One of the things Shiv had mentioned is mobile increases activation and conversion. And to start with that, what I'm going to do is apply as a brand new customer. I'm going to apply for a credit card. I'll go through an application flow, go through a underwriting KYC, and I will get a card in a few minutes, and then I'll make a purchase. So it can kind of show you how long traditionally it takes for you to approve a credit card and ship a credit card. Now with mobile and instant issuance, we will give a card right away while the plastic is in the mail. So I'm actually first going to start with, this is our branded app. Now you could actually start the credit card experience in our web, in our app, or in our app clip. So there are multiple channels to allow you to do it. All these channels are integrated with, you can integrate with your campaign management system. So you'd be able to track all the way in, you'll be able to track the funnel, and you can do the activation. Now, of course, you don't have to use our apps. You can build it on top of our APIs. You can embed into your existing apps, or you can build a brand new app too. So here, from a purpose of demo, I'm going to do it in a mobile web and app. So I'm going to apply as a brand new customer. And you will see how easy it is to apply and get approved. And most of the initial things are, as any credit card application, there is a standard set of information we need to apply. Now here, we kind of tell you application takes 3 to 5 minutes. You can get a decision right now. So we do decisions based on soft pull. And then once you accept the card, we'll do a hard pull. And depending on fraud risk, we might step you up and ask you for a driver's license and selfie. Now you guys get, this is in production, so you guys get to see how old I am. And with this, so all these disclosures and everything, we have made it as a configuration to, for any issuer, immediately we'll be able to customize and bring it up. And with this, I'm going to submit my application. And behind the scenes, an underwriting decision is being made. And a KYC is being made. And depending on it, I might be stepped up too. So that's what is going on right now. So everything happened immediately. So I got underwritten for $10,000. I was given a 17.24 APR. Based on all the information available, we use Precise ID, Socure, Centilink, and a host of third-party providers to do a KYC. And based on that, I was actually approved. And now, if I agree and accept the card, this is the time we actually do the hard pull. And so that's basically what is happening. So I am a digital card or a virtual card will be issued right now while a physical card is being shipped. So that's the process which is doing right now. Perfect. So my card is issued. I can add my card to Apple Wallet. I'm still within the app. I don't have to scan or do anything. I can directly say add to Apple Wallet. And I'm going to add it to my iPhone. If you look at it, the last four of the newly issued card was 2853. And that's being added. And these are screens from Apple as you add your card to Apple Pay. And I'm going to set this up. Again, if you look at it, you see last four as 2853. I'm going to set this up as a default card. So this is my first time experience. If you look at it, I have $10,000 available. That was what I was approved for. I have zero spend on the card. If you look at the next line, it says your card is set up and ready to use in Apple Pay. And I could add bank and set up auto pay if I want to. This is a placeholder to kind of show that this is what where your transactions will show. And we have a section called spending habits. With our platform, you don't have to take it to Clarity or Mint. You will directly see all your transactions here. This is rewards. And I'll go through each of these features pretty soon. Now that we have $10,000 available, I want to make a purchase. So I'm going to use my Starbucks app, and that's my usual breakfast spot. I have $21 in my Starbucks, so I'm going to add, let's see, $10 more to it. So it will become $31.49. So using 2853, the newly created card. So let me add it in. And if you look at it, my overall, it became 31. And let's go back to our app. Now I have a $10 spend. My available limit has reduced. The first transaction, which is a Starbucks transaction, we always enrich our transaction. So that's Starbucks headquarters information. It's eating out. It's an online transaction. So everything was, so what we saw here, and this we believe is how every credit card will start becoming, is once you underwrite somebody, going through a process of underwriting and approving somebody, and you will issue a digital card or a virtual card right away, which is a great experience. You will not have drop-offs like what you have in your traditional way of shipping a physical card. With this, I want to show the next set of features, which kind of show you why a great mobile experience would get you to top of wallet. So this is my day-to-day credit card in the Deserve platform. So if you look at it, you will see transactions do not look like regular statements. It's Costco, AT&T, Geico, And if I go to any one of these, I live in Palo Alto. This is Mountain View Costco. The Costco name is very clear. There is nothing cryptic. It's the Google Places location. We don't talk MCC language. We show you it's shopping, and this is the location. And this is another interesting thing. You go to Amazon. Amazon, if you buy a product, Amazon will tell you that, hey, you already bought this product like 2 months before. With us, and as a customer in our credit card, we want our credit card to say how much you spent on this merchant. And this is a way in which you can also use credits much more effectively. We understand what you're spending. Right now, it clearly says that I've spent $459 in Costco. Now, again, all these features and capabilities, you don't have to use our app. It's available as open APIs. You can embed into your existing app. And now let's say I have a bill of 105 from AT&T. If I were to dispute the transaction, I can call our dispute desk and file a case, or I can do it right now from the app. And I can say, let's say AT&T did a wrong amount, and instead of 105, it should have been 80. I call the merchant and yes, so wrong plan charged. With this, I can actually submit a dispute. Once we submit the dispute, we will not charge interest for this transaction. Customer will clearly know this transaction under dispute. He will know the status of how it resolves. The entire dispute case management and workflow, you automatically give customer the visibility, and then the customer knows that whether it resolved in his favor or the merchant's favor. And coming to disputes, and generally cardholders, 70% of cardholders state that they see charges which they don't understand or amounts they don't understand, and that's a trend in our industry. And this kind of enrichment makes it such a way that it is always clear what you're spending. And for example, restaurants, another area. We actually give you the location of the restaurant. We call it eating out. Now, we also break it down and tell you how much is the tip amount. Now, this is one of the reasons customers sometimes dispute a transaction. For example, I was charged $90 in the restaurant. I added a tip of $15, and then it was overall $105. But if you don't see this breakdown, you might, in your head, you might have thought, like, I don't remember seeing a 3-digit figure in my, in the restaurant bill, but, and I might dispute the transaction. So all of these things, we made it such a way it's really, really easy for the customer. And spend habits is another area. So we cleanly categorize how much you spend every month compared to your last month. What's your average? Again, each one of these things can be embedded within your apps. So we provide APIs to easily embed into your thing. So now we kind of tell you, like, how much you spend, so you can help in budgeting. This is another area which is very important from a customer point of view. We all make online transactions, and merchants store your card on file, and you have no visibility where your cards are. So here we kind of tell you your card was saved online by these merchants. So my card was with GitHub, AT&T, Geico, Amazon, DoorDash, like, these are the merchants where I shop. Now, for example, Geico is my auto insurance. It's pretty high because I have a 17-year-old who's just started driving. But let's say I move to Allstate. I can say, once I do Allstate, I can say block, and Geico will never be able to charge again. Right now, for cardholders, once you have your card in many merchants, the only way is to call your card issuer and say, can you issue me a new PAN, and make everything blow up, and then you go and fix which ones you want. Here, we give you full control so that you are on top of which merchant should have your card and which merchants you don't want to allow. Similarly, subscription management is a huge part of everybody's life. We spend a lot of money on subscriptions. We want it to be really, really easy. And we believe every modern card platform has to provide subscription management as a default. So with us, it's super clear. Audible, Netflix, Spotify, these are my subscriptions. We even clearly tell you when you get charged. So Audible always charges me end of the month. I can see all these transactions, and if I decide that I don't want Audible to charge me again, I can pause it. It won't be able to charge, or I can call and unsubscribe. I'm on top of all my subscription. I now know that, what, am I really, like, I've already spent $104 on Audible. Am I getting my money's worth? So there is a lot more controls. Now, there is a few other things which are very unique to us. This whole add friends and family and bill credit. Now, what we want to do is, what we've done is authorized user. So card programs have authorized users where, whether it's Chase or Bank of America, or Capital One, you can call them and they will ship you an authorized user card. Now, with everybody having a mobile device and instant issuance, you can actually make authorized user a lot more easier. So for example, if I were to add a card to my family members, it's very, very easy. I'm just going to add one. I'm going to have Shiv, I'm going to add you as an authorized user. So I'm going to add to show you how easy it is for me to give a card. So I have a $10,000 line in this card. So I'm going to give. Shiv, what's your phone number?
925-464-0524.
Okay, and I'm gonna put Shiv's date of birth as this, and this is the beauty of it. Not only can I give Shiv an authorized card, I can set spend limit. I can spend a monthly limit. So I'm gonna set a $1,000 as a limit, and now I can add SSN if I want to. This is great. When you have kids and you want to build credit for them, you can add their SSN and we'll start reporting to the bureau. But of course, now I'm going to skip. And, oh, sorry, your number is already there. So I'm going to use the other number. And with this, Shiv will get a link and immediately, that's it, an actual instant card is issued. Now, Shiv will have his own PAN. When he makes a purchase, he'll only see his transactions. I will see I will see all my authorized users' transactions. I can go here. I can change Shiv's spend limit. I can pause his card. This is where his transaction will show, or I can remove him as an authorized user. So that's of course, we can also ship a physical card to Shiv. Nothing from a physical card. We support all kinds of physical card. We do panless card. We do metal cards. We do contactless. So we support all physical cards, but by providing an instant virtual card, you totally make the experience really great. And Shiv can now have a card and he can make a purchase right away. So now the next set of features is rewards. We have a very sophisticated rewards infrastructure. So rewards is another thing where there are different ways in which you can earn rewards, and there are different ways in which we can burn rewards. A modern credit card infrastructure, we think earning rewards should be anything which a issuer wants to incentivize. This way, you tailor a rewards program, which is this way, a differentiated rewards program, such a way you can incentivize your users. So rewards can be based on spend, can be on payments, or based on time you spend on the card. You can have whatever reason in which you can do rewards. So here, this is an example of a rewards policy we've set up. We have different rewards, 1%, 1.25, 1.5, depending on how much you spend. Of course, you can have rewards based on merchants, based on MCC, based on geolocation. You can think of whichever way you want to do. And then you can burn the rewards by statement credit or sending to ACH or keeping it as points and taking it to an external systems. Many of these are available. Now, from a fraud control, because from a mobile nature, we provide some unique capabilities which will significantly reduce fraud losses for issuers. We have this feature called Turn On Extra Fraud Protection. What it means is your physical card won't work if your phone is not with you. So it's a very simple thing, but powerful. So you can go about doing your business. You can go to a store, make purchases, go to a restaurant, make purchases. Everything will go fine. So let's say you go to downtown, you accidentally drop your card and you come back home. If somebody picks your card and makes a transaction, it won't work. We immediately check with the merchant information and geolocation information. And basically, we tie the geolocation of your phone with the authorization so that we will not allow an authorization if the phone is not with you. And a phone is always with every customer. So it's an optional feature. And there is one more thing, which is like, really cool feature, as in one of the fast-going frauds is wallet fraud. So my card currently is provision in my wallet in my iPhone, which you saw when I was trying to do but we make it very clear saying what are all the tokens which are generated from my phone, from my card, and I have a token stored in my iPhone. Now, this has been a vector for fraudsters. Fraudsters take stolen PANs and directly add them to Apple Wallet or Google Wallet. And if they are able to crack the step up, now they have a card which they go to any store and make a purchase. Once your card is an Apple Wallet, stores do not check for ID. To show this, I need volunteers to directly add my card to your Apple Wallet. I'm actually giving you permission to add my PAN. It's you don't have to, all you have to do is go here to Apple Wallet or Google Wallet and do plus and directly add debit or credit. So if you guys can, anybody want to, I can have any number of volunteers. It's not a problem. If you can do it, that would be great. And similarly, Ankit or Shiv, you're on the call. You guys can also do this. And we'll show you what we built.
So I went to the wallet, add card, chose debit or credit. And I will enter the card details manually. I'm reading the numbers 5556, 8400, followed by 4 more zeros, and then 2853. Expiration of 03/2026. And adding the CVV of 980. Adding card. And I have a new card.
Okay, excellent. So I'm going to now. Okay, and of course, we have others. There is somebody, Amarelido's iPhone from Yonkers, New York, 914-525-4010. Thank you for trying to add this card. And of course, see, this is the best thing about our platform. You don't get a step up. I get, because I am the card owner, I clearly get a message. Amarelido's iPhone. I'm so sorry. I'm probably butchering your name. Apologize for it. But so since I gave you authorization to add, I'm going to say allow. So until then, your card would have said that it is suspended. Now you'll see that your card is available. So now similarly, Shiv, till I unblock, Shiv will not be able to do.
Yeah, so my wallet went from this card can't be used to now card being active.
Okay, and let's say, so this is another thing. We as users, every year we get a new iPhone, we add a card to Apple Watch, that is, sometimes we'll add to our device, iPads, to our kids, like, you have your card added in so many devices and you lose track of where it is, and that's a vector for fraudsters. With our platform, and this we think is going to become a baseline for every modern card platform to clearly show what are all the wallets you have your card. And now, let's say I want to remove these cards from these different wallets. I can do it very easily. And Amarelido, I'm going to basically, if I just do this and say delete, it will get removed from your wallet. And I'm going to do the same for Ankit and Shiv also. And you could see that, not only I, as the card holder, have full know which are all the wallets and devices which have the card tokenized. I can go and remove them also. This way, I have full control over it. Not who,
Yeah, my card went back to this card cannot be used, and so I have to remove the card from the wallet.
Yeah, perfect. And I think there is a lot more features with this, but you would have seen the power of building a very mobile native platform. So this is how you can actually differentiate in the market. Credit card is a crowded space. There are so many credit card players out there. For issuers to make a card which can stand out, can get to top of wallet, you need features like this. Thank you, Shiv. You can take over.
Yeah, can you stop sharing, Rajan?
Yeah.
So we just saw the demo with all these features. So why is this not more commonly available? I think we all know the answer. The card infrastructure is broken today in the industry. At one level, the processing or the processor layer is pretty rigid. How the ledger is managed, what interest rates, features, as well as updates you can do in real time, what type of products you can build around new interest rate constructs or fee constructs. These are all difficult to do because of the industry's reliance on very legacy processing infrastructure. But then just having a modern processor alone is not going to be enough, because then on top of that, there is the fragmented middleware, where from origination to underwriting to managing marketing to how you do compliance and risk management, all of this have been stitched together using multiple different systems of different vintages, not all of them real time. And all of this creates complexity and inability to share data in real time, and inability for configurability to flow all the way down to the processor layer. And then, of course, you cannot build the type of mobile features that you just saw without doing a huge amount of technology work. How does all this affect how you do business? The cost and the speed are definitely affected. So as an example, one of the top 3 issuers, which is a public company, when you analyze their overall costs, it looks like they spend about $5.8 per active account per month in managing their card portfolio. And this is an at-scale issuer with more than 100 million cards. For issuers who are much below that, the cost is likely to be multiples of this. Then time to launch. If you have an existing processor with other products on it and you're looking to launch a new credit product, you may be able to get there in 6 months. But if you're looking to launch a new program on a new processor, taking 18 months is not unheard of. But more importantly, I think the day-to-day operations is where the constraints come in. So a simple thing like an APR change today with legacy infrastructure is where you have to raise a ticket, and then it could take 2 to 4 weeks for the APR change to be turned around. And then the other big area of significant frustration for all issuers is the amount of effort it takes to access the data, reconcile it, and this leads to huge armies of teams being deployed to manage and access data and reconcile. So then Rajan will double click on.
So now, this is one of the what we see, and I'm sure everybody here, you could have great ideas as a card issuer, and if you really want to execute your idea, you will be limited by what the processors can do, because processors have their whole own roadmap. Many of the processors were built even before the internet, and even processors which were built, modern processors which were built afterwards in the cloud or API first, have really not taken into where the end user from a mobile point of view, what is that you want to do as new features and capabilities. So it doesn't matter what you want to do in a processor, you will be stuck with saying it's going to take a year or 2, or it's a much more difficult thing. And so anytime you want to do a feature which cuts across a processor, a mobile app, or your program management layer, it's a multi-year project because it's not vertically integrated. And I want to talk about why vertical integration is so important. And bear with me here, I'm going to use an analogy to explain this. Now, if many of you have iPhones and maybe some with Android, but when iPhone came, iPhone came with 5S. Before 5S, we were just doing number pads for entering into the app. 5S came with Touch ID, and immediately it was amazing. You could unlock your phone with Touch ID. You can make purchases with Touch ID. You could make app logins with Touch ID. Now, Android could not bring something close to how Touch ID worked in Apple. And the reason why it could not do was, if you look at how, Shiv, can you go to the next slide, please? So if you have to understand what Apple had to do to make Touch ID work, Apple had a Touch ID sensor. That's where your fingerprints are. Once it reads your fingerprint, they had actually made a storage in their A7 processor with secure storage where your fingerprint can be stored so that it can never be tampered with. So, and then they changed the iOS layer operating system and had APIs which your home screen would use, your apps can use, your purchases can use. Now you have an end-to-end seamlessly working Touch ID. Now, similarly, and the Android ecosystem, it is very fragmented, right? So you have your device manufacturers, Samsung, LG, Sony, they are buying the sensors and making the phones with Touch ID. And they need to work with Qualcomm, which is a totally independent company. Hey, can you create a storage in your processor so that I can securely store it? And they are working with Android, where Android by itself has to have APIs for Touch ID. Now you are now collaborating with 3 different companies, each have its own roadmap, and they all want to solve the Touch ID problem, but they are all trying to compete with each other. So end result, you don't have an easy way of launching this thing. So now this to us is the same which is happening in our industry. Shiv, can you go to the next slide, please? You take any top bank issuer or any issuer for that matter, you have your end user digital products, whether it's your web front end or your mobile apps, and then they talk to your program management layer or your custom middleware layer where it's built by IT systems or bank systems, or it's stitching of different vendor products. And then they all talk to a processor. And between them, if we have to vertically make a change, any change can go to multi-years. You cannot think of making a feature which cuts across everything. The feature which I showed you, how you can just block a merchant and a transaction wouldn't go, or how I showed you, like you add a card to wallet, I'm showing in UI clearly, these are the tokens which are there and you can remove them and everything, or your card won't work if your phone is not with you. You can't even think of any one of these features if you're organized like this. It's a very, very difficult, complicated problem. Apple Card, which is one of the leading players here, even they can't move at the same speed because they have to work with Goldman Sachs for the program management layer, and they have to work with their own processor, which is another third party. So that's how the industry is organized. Now, where we see for the industry to innovate and keep having more features to have differential products, just like every other industry, it has to be vertically integrated. The processor, the program management layer, and building the mobile apps on top of an SDK or APIs, everything to be seamlessly there so that you can innovate faster, you can launch features which customers would care about, and you can get apps to top of wallet, you can get cards to top of wallet. And that's where we believe, and vertically integrated approach, this is how every other industry eventually has happened. A vertically integrated approach has won. That the same kind of change will happen in the credit card space too. Thank you, Shiv.
And so to, again, make what the point that Rajan made a little bit more clearer, this is the stack where you have at the bottom the modern processing layer, where you're able to create flexible account structures for authorized users or for SMBs or corporations with ability to set rules at the account or the sub-account level, not at the PAN number, but the account number. And so that gives incredible flexibility in how you can deploy new products and make it available for a SMB or a corporate or even a consumer card. And then you have a smart ledger, which is completely configurable for what type of interest rates you want to enable. So for example, do you want to promote a card where within 3 months of activation, if you buy an airline ticket, then that is subject to a 0% APR? How do you enable these types of innovative features which will drive activation, top of wallet, and usage? All that's possible when the ledger is highly configurable. And then overall, in the second layer for the program on top of the processor, because the program layer is integrated to this processing layer, everything is configurable and everything is self-service in terms of configuration. You want to make an APR change, instead of raising a ticket and waiting for 2 to 4 weeks, you can make it yourself through a maker checker flow and have it go live instantly. And this applies to every aspect of a program management layer. From origination, you want to change the rules around what thresholds will get someone approved or put them into manual review, or you want to change the credit criteria. All of this can be configured and changed in real time. And then the third layer, which is the consumer or the SMB or corporate card user facing layer, that's where then all this configuration and innovation gets surfaced to drive the type of experiences that we saw in the demo today. So the real-time configurability is a big deal because it's a significant unlock on how efficiently you can operate your own card programs, how quickly you can launch new products, or even how quickly you can launch new features. So the configuration enables you to make these changes on the fly. What you see on the screen is a screenshot of a self-service UX for interest rate changes. And this is just an example of things that you can change across rewards, around delinquency management, around how payments are treated, and so on. So this also enables rapid launch of new products. So for example, a completely new program with a new product on a processing integrated stack like this can go from concept to launch in as soon as 3 to 4 months. And all of this has been proven in the real world. On the Deserve platform, a number of clients like Rocket, AMC Theaters, Perpay, M1 Finance, Customers Bank, they've all experienced this type of capabilities on this integrated stack. With that, I think we will go to Q&A. Pat? I think can people hear me?
Sorry, Shiv, I was on mute talking. So, hey, sorry, folks, for the pause there. So thanks, Shiv and Rajan. We do have several questions. The first question is, will you share the presentation? And I'll go ahead and answer that one. Yes, we will. We're going to be sending a follow-up email to each of you later this week with a link to the recording of today's webinar. And, you know, hopefully you can reference that. We encourage you to share it with any relevant colleagues. And I would go further to say that if any of you want to talk to us, just reach out to that email and we'd be happy to arrange a time to talk. You know, we'll be consultative. We're happy to talk to you about where you're at and what you're looking to do. And, you know, sometimes there's an opportunity to work together. Other times there's just an opportunity to share information. So don't hesitate to reach out to us if we can be helpful. And with that, I'll go into some of the other questions we have here. I know, Rajan, you've been answering some of those, but we'll repeat some just so that everybody can hear the answers. So first question is, did any of the financial institutions you just showed on your slide, were they able to launch in just a few months?
So the short answer is yes. So we've had financial institutions launch in 4 to 5 months, and the time taken is less to do with the platform deployment, but some of the processes that banks have to comply with, their own internal processes and due diligences that they need to complete, and the confirmations are around things like credit policies and compliance procedures and fraud rules and so on. But it is possible even for a bank to go from zero to launch in a few months.
Great. Let's see, I think you mentioned this, Shiv, but just briefly, since we primarily displayed the consumer experience, do you have corporate business card features?
We do. So the core of the corporate card or SMB card feature set is our ability to support origination and underwriting for SMBs. This includes KYB and KYC on the beneficiary owners, being able to do underwriting both on the business owner, but then where you require it, we can also underwrite based on the business profile and cash flow. And that's the origination piece, which supports an SMB card product, but then also the ability to use or issue employee cards with card controls, being able to invite and onboard an employee with a new card with a spend limit on it and controls on which categories the spend can happen and so on. And then the ability to export transaction data to your accounting packages. So the white label product we have is for SMBs, but the APIs can be used to build your corporate card product as well.
Okay, great. Next question. Are partners able to leverage the card issuance APIs, but retain control and own the UI UX?
Yes, absolutely. We have a number of clients who have done that. As an example, M1 Finance that you saw is one good example of that. You can take the APIs and completely embed it within your existing web and mobile apps and drive the experience. All the features as well, you can pick which features you want or which modules you want to use. So for example, if you want to use your existing origination system, but then operate the card on the platform, that is possible. Everything is modular. Another example is where you may want to use your existing rewards engine or rewards platform, but use the rest of the card platform for origination and card management. All those are possible.
Great. Let's see, we're getting a lot of questions here which are great, and we're gonna keep answering questions. We understand some people will have something at the top of the hour, but we'll also follow up with you if you have to drop off. Next question is, I'm interested in understanding more about the decision engine in your stack. Was that developed in-house?
So I just answered this question also here, and there are two ways you can use. So we have our own in-house decision engine, which you can use, or we can integrate to any third-party decision engines, or even we have banks which we have made integration where the decision happens on their side, and we integrate and then continue and create a card.
Thanks, Rajan. And then is it possible to migrate an existing card onto your platform, or does it only work if you launch a new card?
It is possible to migrate an existing portfolio. We have migrated portfolios before, and some of the things which will actually reduce the risk of migration is the ability to, for example, mirror all the data ahead of time, as well as being able to do digital issuance so that the cardholder experiences minimal disruption in how they use the card.
Great. Next question. Does Deserve partner with any other providers in this space?
We do work, of course, with a number of players in the market, including Visa and MasterCard. They are our investors in the company as well. But we work closely with them in advancing a number of these digital card features. MasterCard's Digital First program, which certifies how you do digital issuance and instant issuance. We are a really good example of what that framework means. And then in addition to the networks, of course, We are working with a number of other players in the market as needed around core banking or new features which will require new sources of data. As an example, for SMB underwriting, we have integrated to LexisNexis and Experian and FICO. So these are all third-party capabilities that we orchestrate to surface the features that you looked at.
Great. Another question, and Rajan, I know you're answering these, but I want to ask them just in case people don't have their eyes on the Q&A. Can the partner select the BIN sponsor, or is this process managed by Deserve?
Okay, let me answer this. So absolutely. So we have many banks who are BIN sponsors, use us as a platform. So we will use those BINs from their BIN sponsorship and issue cards against it. Similarly, if it's a non-bank, we have many banks in our ecosystem which we could connect you guys with, so that if you want a BIN sponsor, that is also something which we enable.
Great. And since this presentation was primarily geared towards financial institutions and issuers, this question is good for potentially for fintechs and brands. Can Deserve help a brand, let's say, find a partner bank?
Yes, we have done that multiple times where we have helped fintechs or brands find the BIN sponsor, and we have a few BIN sponsors who are already integrated to the platform, but we do help non-banks also operate on the platform.